There is a lot of news to get to as we wrap up the week. Joe Biden started yelling randomly in the middle of a speech. Mobs took over streets of New York City, and did Kamala Harris release a brand new single? We'll get to all of that and much more, but first we turn to Atlanta, where Fox News was tracking Hurricane Helene's progress up from Florida into Georgia, and a Fox News reporter stopped his broadcast live to rescue a woman who was trapped in a flooded car.
There's Bill Van Dillen. He's live in where flooding is getting worse and first responders are out in force. They're working to save lives. Hey, Bob, can you hear us?
Yeah, I got you. I got you loud and clear. And you can see right here, we've got this this lady drove into the area that's flooded out, and she's screaming right now. I just called 911. Fire department is coming in, but she drove right into the flood waters. This is the Peachtree Creek, and it is rising at the moment. We've got this thing cresting at about 23 feet. It's going to go up a little bit more. This, by the way, we had the video of the high water rescues earlier. That was about a mile away from this spot where I am right now. So people are still driving around and seeing all these floodwaters and still going around the barriers and getting in. So I am patiently waiting for 911 to come. They said the fire department was coming from Atlanta. I'm in North Atlanta right now on the corner of Northside Street, Northside Drive. It's a pretty big populated area right here. She is still screaming, but we got you. We got you. 911, they're coming. You're good. You're good. Oh, man, it's a situation. We will get back to you in a little bit. I'm going to go see if I can help this lady out a little bit more, you guys. I'll be back.
Yeah. All right, Bob has got to go help them. Bob Van Dillen.
Terrified.
Just
explain to our audience real quickly. It's you see that path right here. It's not as easy as it looks to get to that path. He's going to try to help her out, but it's a dangerous situation, even for firemen.
They actually they were able to record footage of the actual rescue, which I'll show here in a bit. But a lot of times, law enforcement and first responders, their advice is to not get involved. First of all, floodwater is very dangerous. I think you only need 4 to 6 inches of floodwater to potentially sweep you off your feet, depending on whether it's moving, and that obviously is more than 4 to 6 inches. And then on top of that, you have the risk of electrocution, if there are power lines out. So typically, first responders, their advice is to wait until they get there and let the professionals handle it. But as you can see, the Fox News reporter stopped the segment live, and this is what they caught on camera.
Moments ago, Fox Weather's Bob saved a woman trapped in a car. Look at that.
He's saving her.
He called 911 for her. Bob is going to join us coming up. That guy is a hero.
Wow.
Just absolutely incredible. I wanted to share that story because I think, right now things are obviously very heated, very divided with the election coming up. And, so much of the news has been focused on politics. And I think it's amazing when we can take a break, take a step back from all of that and just be reminded of the humanity of our next door neighbors. And that's exactly what happened with this reporter. He saw someone in need. He called 911. She was screaming for help. She was panicked. First responders weren't getting there fast enough. So he just decided to jump in right into action, potentially put his life on the line and, rescued that woman, brought her out to safety. I think that's great. And part of the reason I wanted to bring attention to this too is because I've been seeing a lot of criticism online, specifically from Democrats. They're making fun of Fox News and they were like, did he make sure she wasn't a childless cat lady? Did he make sure she wasn't a Democrat? All the insults that you would expect. And I think my message is can we just put politics aside when actual lives are on the line and when someone does an act of heroism? Can we not just, applaud that person, applaud that spirit of humanity, bravery, and, look at that person as a role model for, the rest of us, for the kids watching this? I just don't get why there's any criticism of that going on. To me, it's a great story. And obviously, there's a lot of tragedy coming in from Hurricane Helene. And I think when we can highlight stories like that, that's what I want to do too. But obviously, I do love news and I do love politics. And that brings me to Joe Biden in Washington, D.C., where he gave a speech and he just so happened to botch a quote by Thomas Jefferson. And then he also got the Constitution wrong, which is really interesting since, he apparently taught the Constitution. Take a look at this.
I taught constitutional law for years, constitutional law. Never was the Second Amendment meant to be absolute. Back when it was passed, you could not own a cannon. No, I'm not joking. People like the liberty of Americans is water with the blood of patriots. Like hell. I'm serious. Think about it. Think about it. It was never absolute. Never, 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 never. It's time we increase funding for the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives.
First of all, he misquoted Thomas Jefferson. What Thomas Jefferson said was the tree of liberty must be refreshed from time to time with the blood of patriots and tyrants. And Jefferson wasn't, praising bloodshed. What he was saying, what his quote is about, is a comment on the serious commitment to fight for freedom. And, fighting for freedom has a cost. And so he's just acknowledging that cost of freedom. It's not, praising bloodshed for the sake of bloodshed, sort of like Joe Biden was insinuating there. But what's really alarming is that Joe Biden claims he taught constitutional law. Well, what he said wasn't true. This is according to the Washington Post, a fact check from the Washington Post, which obviously leans left. Biden's false claim that the Second Amendment bans cannon ownership. Oh, yeah. You were able to buy cannons back then. Not only were you able to buy cannons back then when the Constitution was written, you're able to buy cannons today. According to the National Review, they did a legal analysis of the law, and Americans today can still buy a cannon. Just FYI, Joe Biden. Now, fortunately, people in some cities, like New York City, aren't buying cannons, and that is a good thing. Yesterday, there was a mob waving Hamas flags, Hezbollah flags, and they were detonating smoke bombs in the streets. And to me, this is really alarming. Take a look. This is from New York City. I think the reason this is really disturbing for me is we are still in the month of September. September 11 was just a few weeks ago. This sort of behavior, this sort of sentiment would not have been acceptable 20 years ago in the immediate aftermath of 9/11. But on top of that, this is, they're not just protesting for Gaza, for Palestine. This is explicitly an anti-Israel protest. This is anti-Semitic. This would put, the 1930s Germany to shame. It really is reminiscent of that, and I think it's really disappointing that that's what we're seeing in our major cities. But of course, we shouldn't be surprised because the UN met this week, and yesterday, when Netanyahu was speaking, delegates and ambassadors started leaving. They left before he spoke, as he spoke, and it was really, I thought, disrespectful.
We have Bibi Netanyahu now taking the lectern at the UN.
Order, please. Ladies and gentlemen, order.
You can see all the empty seats there, and then you can see, the ambassadors walking out in real time, even as he took the lectern, and even more left as he spoke, which was really sad. So, I am obviously wearing a Puppet Gate shirt. I got this from my friends over at Puppet Gate. They have a great merch store if you want to support them. I have long believed that culture and politics are intertwined, and that, conservatives have a long ways to go when it comes to catching up with the liberal stranglehold on entertainment, on Hollywood. And so one of the things I want to do on my channel is bring attention to creators and entertainers who are outside of the mainstream and, have independent thoughts. And my friends over at Puppet Gate just released a brand new single from the perspective of Kamala Harris. And first of all, it's actually really good. The song itself is kind of a bop. It's really good. Second of all, it is joke upon joke, and not just jokes following jokes. They're layered on top of each other. Kamala Harris bathing in a tub of collard greens. There are so many jokes, aside from the lyrics visually, and then when it's just brilliant. I'm gonna give you a taste of this right now.
What up, fams? It's the one and only Kamala. Okay,
Ready to do anything for that dollar? Now hear me holler. Say it loud. I'm black and I'm proud like a panther. Answer questions with a question if I even answer. What can be unburdened by what has been? I'm working like Megan when I'm on the scene. I staged a coup against old man Biden with stolen valid tampon Tim we riding. When the news come through, I remain quiet. Fiery but mostly peaceful riots. Round and round, I'm stuck on repeat. Saying a lot, but my words feel weak. Trying to sound smart, but it's not valid. Spinning in circles, talking that word salad. I was a border czar, but now I'm not. I was the worst VP, but now I'm hot with the propaganda media calling shots. I got 20 million followers and most are bots. Say it loud, I'm black and I'm proud like a panther. Answer questions with a question if I even answer. What can be unburdened by what has been? I'm working like Megan when I'm on the scene. I love yellow school buses and Venn diagrams. I'm talking hot air like 10 diaphragms. Inhalation, record high inflation.
Catchy, right? I absolutely love it. I am leaving a link to the music video down below. I'm going to pin it as the top comment. If you go check out the video, please be sure to let them know that I sent you. Yes, please support conservative creators and independent creators. We need a lot more of those. If you haven't already, please be sure to give me a thumbs up. I know it's a simple thing to ask, but it really does help me in the algorithm to reach more viewers like you. What do you think about that Fox News clip, the weatherman, stepping in to save that woman? Do you think he's a hero? Do you think he was reckless because he should have waited for first responders? What do you think about the Democrats criticizing him? I think there's so much that can be encapsulated in that singular story, and that's why I wanted to share it, because I thought it was really inspirational, and I think that the man is a hero. Be sure to smash that subscribe button and to check out one of these videos.